it gets difficult when you have multiple bank accounts and if you have credit cards and PayPals and things, or a Venmo, or God knows what other things there are. Like, you need to really simplify it. Like, you should only really have one checking account, one bank account, and one credit card linked to that one checking account with one company. If you have any more than that, that's too complicated. And you won't be able to do the books.
So you don't have savings accounts? Like you just have all the money blocked into one massive account?
So I have like more accounts than that, but I also have a full-time accountant. Right? I'm talking about if you're going to do this shit yourself, like you might have your personal bank account with one account and then your company account, like, but it doesn't really need, you don't need a savings account separate from that. Like, what's the point?
Well, I have one savings account that's like a long-term business savings account that money's automatically moved into. I have another savings account that I think of as money to pay taxes with, so that the number I'm seeing in my checking account is always sort of assumed that taxes has been taken out of that.
So I would just
there's three of them.
calculate that in my head. Like, I wouldn't create new accounts, because the problem I have with multiple accounts is like you're trying to figure out, hey, what was that one going out of that and into that, and then what was that one going out of that and into that, and then when you go to like try and reconstruct this thing, it's like a real complexity, because they're not income, they're not flows of income, they're also not outflows of expense. Like, these are like just movements of money around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gets confusing. Also, we don't even use a credit card. Well, I just have a debit card. So like that way, if I have an expense, it's gone out of the account. So what I see is always what I get. Yeah.
Did you use a finance company to finance your students if they need to,
No. Yeah.
why not?
Well, I don't know anyone that's actually done that, like, and actually been able to show me something. Like,
Like PayPal credit, for example, any of that?
so PayPal credit we accepted when we accepted PayPal, but then that ended up in like our PayPal account getting frozen. So then I realized that it was best just not to accept PayPal, right? So like, yeah, because I don't like complexity. That thing took like weeks of my time. Like, I'm not going to go down that avenue again just for a little increase in conversion rate. Plus, if people like do refunds or disputes, now you've got to manage disputes in like multiple locations. Because if it's in Stripe, it's all in Stripe, and it's simple. But if it's in bloody PayPal, they've got two ways to do it. Once through the PayPal system, and then once with their credit card company. Like, it's a shitstorm. And then if you have a lot of scale and your support people now need access to PayPal, and then they're moving things, are like, there goes your time. Now you're done. Honestly, that's how it happens. It just gets you like that. You have to just simplify and fight back the complexity. It's like, could we get a finance company? Yeah, we probably could, but no. Do we use the PayPal thing? No. No, no, no. Fighting it back. Yeah.
I think Dan Henry's using someone, I just don't know if it's working for him or not, like a financing company. Yeah, in one of the calls he mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, people have told me it, but no one showed me it. Yeah.
You don't do monthly payment plans or anything?
No, they're all right. Like, you should try to do as little of them as possible. It's better to get money up front, but they're not that bad. Yeah. But you want to know, like, the problem I have with credit cards is, let's say you've got your checking account, and let's say it's got 100 grand in it, right? Then let's say you get a Stripe thing come in every day, and it's like the next day 20 grand extra comes in. You got 120 grand. You're like, oh, I've got 120 grand. Things are going good. But you might have accumulated 50 grand on your card, and it's not showing in there. Do you know what I mean? So it gives you this false sense of like what's going on. Yeah. And sure, you could go and read the credit card thing, and then you could go and read that one and then like do a bit of math, but I'm already like, fuck the points. I'd rather have simplicity. Yeah. I'd take simplicity over points any day. And that's why we hook up Facebook and AdWords directly to our bank account. We don't do that one through a card, because that card, if it declines, which it always does because of the fraud protection thing, right? Not because it doesn't have money. Like, in America, they lock cards all the time. And I've had to, like, the biggest concern was my media buyers would be like, holy shit, ads had stopped, like, got to call up, like, the bank and got to deal with them and unlock it, and it causes mayhem. So we just removed that and just linked it straight up to the account. It never, ever, ever declines. It's impossible, unless you don't have any money. Yeah.
You don't have a billing threshold when you have it set up that way, right? Like it just bills you every single day?
It does bill you cleaner because like you don't get like them every like $500 or every like 1,000 or $5,000 or something. It just does one, which makes your life easier when you're doing your books, right? Because you just have, each day has a transaction. Like you don't get 50 pages of Facebook transactions, right? You want to try to reduce the complexity as much as you possibly can. Our bank statements now are 4 pages a month. Yeah. They used to be about 200. Yeah. But I've really worked to make it simple.